U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump was wounded in Pennsylvania rally shooting. Former U.S. president and Republican candidate was shot in the right ear and swiftly escorted off the stage by Secret Service with blood streaming down his face. The alleged assassination attempt left one bystander dead and two suspectors critically injured. While delivering a speech at a rally in Pennsylvania, 7 gunshots were in fact fired at him. The incident occurred when Donald Trump was showing off a chart of border crossing numbers when the apparent shots began. As Trump was talking, an alarming sound was heard, and the former president put his right hand to his ear as people in the stands behind him appeared to be shocked. As the first pop rang out, Trump grabbed his ear and he, in fact, ducked down. It was a close call as the bullet grazed his ear and narrowly missed his head. It took 2 minutes from the moment of the first shot for Donald Trump to be safely evacuated in a waiting SUV. Of course, that's the unfortunate development that took place yesterday. U.S. President Joe Biden has in fact offered an independent review of the security measures at the Pennsylvania rally, where an attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump occurred. He also directed the head of the U.S. Secret Service to review security measures ahead of this week's Republican National Convention in fact, Biden also noted that he was sought to provide Trump with every Secret Service resource that the former U.S. president and his team had asked for. Let's in fact listen in.
Now face the time of testing as the election approaches. And the higher the stakes, the more fervent the passions become. This places an added burden on each of us to ensure that no matter how strong our convictions, we must never descend into violence. The Republican convention will start tomorrow. I have no doubt they'll criticize my record and offer their own vision for this country. I'll be traveling this week making the case for our record and the vision, my vision of the country, our vision. I'll continue to speak out strongly for our democracy, stand up for our Constitution and the rule of law, to call for action at the ballot box, no violence on our streets. That's how democracy should work.
Of course, there you heard it, viewers. Meanwhile, joining us at this point of time is my colleague Brian Thomas. Brian, campaigning has to continue. You know, elections are going to take place in November this year. If you could take our viewers through the statements that have been made by Joe Biden.
As to the situation, based on what they know, and they have also tried to get hold of Donald Trump. And now, currently, Donald Trump is with the doctors and doing well. He also plans on taking to them shortly, and we rather hope when he gets back to the telephone. And also, rather, he talks about that there is no, Biden speaks about that there is no place in America for this kind of violence. And even yesterday, also, all the world leaders were condemning this very incident that happened. And he also says that it's one of the reasons why they have to unite this country, and they cannot allow for this to happening, and also he cannot condone this also, and also he wants to thank the Secret Service and all the agencies, including the state agencies. But yes, he also says that he does not have all the details, but when he will be getting to the people. And also the bottom line is that Trump rally should have been able to conduct it peacefully without any problems. But also goes on to say that the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is unheard of, and it's just not appropriate, and everyone must rather condemn it. Yes.
All right, Brian, stay on with us. In fact, we're going to shift our focus to some more news coming in. In fact, breaking news coming in at this point of time. President Joe Biden addressed the nation from the White House after the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. In his address, he condemned all political violence and called for unity. He said, Mr. Trump is a former president and nominee of Republican Party. I have been consistent with directions to the Secret Service with every resource, capability of protective measures to ensure his safety. Let's in fact listen in.
Look, as this investigation continues, here's what we're going to do. First, Mr. Trump, as a former president and nominee of the Republican Party, already receives a heightened level of security. And I've been consistent in my direction to the Secret Service to provide him with every resource, capability, and protective measure necessary to ensure his continued safety. Second, I've directed the head of the Secret Service to review all security measures for the Republican National Convention, which is scheduled to start tomorrow. And third, I've directed an independent review of the national security at yesterday's rally to assess exactly what happened. And we'll share the results of that independent review with the American people as well. And finally, I'll be speaking more about this tonight at greater length from the Oval Office. We must unite as one nation. We must unite as one nation.
All right, so there you heard it, viewers. My colleague Brian is still with us on the broadcast. Brian, we of course heard the statements that have been made by Joe Biden. He said that we must unite. That's what he said. If you could take our viewers through what exactly he's insinuated.
Definitely, he goes on to say that the power to change America should always rest in the hands of people and not in the hands of the would-be assassins. And also the path forward through competing visions of the campaign should always be resolved peacefully and not through any acts of violence. As the investigation goes on, also continues the summary, here's what Biden says that would do, that Trump is a former president and also nominee of the Republican Party, and he has consistently directed the Secret Service to use every resource and capabilities of protective measures to ensure his safety. And second, also, he further goes on to say that he has also rather instructed the head of the Secret Service to review all security measures of the Republican National Convention, which will begin from tomorrow. And also, he has ordered an independent review of the national security at, the day before yesterday's rally to assess what exactly happened. And also, of course, that he will share the results of the independent review with the American people, as said by, President Joe Biden. So, yes, these are the statements that has been coming from Biden, where he also goes on to say that he can, rather when he was speaking to the nation, also addressing the nation, he said that he strongly condemns this, and this is not a part of democracy, and he stands up for the Constitution and the rule of law and calls for action at the ballot box.
Right, yes. Absolutely.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.